We ask ex-president of the European Central Bank, Jean-Claude Trichet, to consider the results of efforts to stabilise a recession-disabled Europe and if he still thinks the Eurozone is taking the right medicine. Are you in favour of a European economic and budgetary federation? What should its criteria be? And do you think that would be a realistic route for Europe to take today?
I do believe we need to go further along the path of a European economic and budgetary federation, which obviously would mean a new change in the treaties. Personally, I think there are several possibilities to consider. One of them seems imaginable to me, though I don't say it's the only one, and I'm not saying it's necessarily the best, but I think it fulfills three criteria. One, it is efficient, which I will develop for you. Two, it is democratic. And three, it respects the principle of subsidiarity. These three things appear essential to me. If a country manages its affairs very badly, does not respect recommendations made to it by the European Commission and the Council, and in doing this endangers the Eurozone's stability, as we have seen amply in the crisis, then there are sanctions that are supposed to act as a deterrent, sanctions in the form of fines. I don't believe that works. It hasn't worked in the past, and I don't think it will in the future. Instead, what I myself see as more realistically imaginable is, instead of fines, activate a federal decision process at the level of the European institutions taken together. The Commission plays the role of government, it anticipates a government. The Council of Governments is a sort of upper chamber, a Senate. And the European Parliament, with its members elected by direct universal suffrage, and who will be elected in the next European poll, act as the lower chamber. I suggest that the Commission say, here is what needs to be done. Let the Senate, the upper chamber, think about it, and then say to the European Parliament, here's what we think, and then the European Parliament decides, evidently limited to the representatives of the Eurozone and after contact with the national parliaments. That is a federation. We have activated federal institutions, but they respect the principle of subsidiarity, because this is not applied generally. It would only be in absolutely exceptional cases, and when the stability of the whole zone is in question. It's evidently democratic. The ultimate decision is taken by the representatives of the people, and that makes it relatively certain that these are not just empty words, and that this is not an ineffective, dissuasive measure of fines.
A final thought on Europe, and I promise you I want to move on, but a final thought. You've made the point about banking union being so important to stabilizing the Eurozone. Well, we don't have a full and proper banking union. It may take a long time to get it. George Soros goes further. He said this, he says, in the end, there's no alternative, if the euro is to work, but to give birth to the missing ingredient, a European treasury with the power to tax and therefore to borrow. In the longer term, is he right?
I think he'll be gone by then. And I might be gone too. But to have that as a goal, if the peoples of Europe and the leaders of Europe have that political objective to turn the currency union into monetary union, which it is now, into a banking union, into a fiscal union, into a political union, that's where they should go, clearly.
Your answer was neat and amusing, but it raises another question, which is, if it's so far away and so difficult to achieve, isn't the implication that in the interim, the Eurozone is always going to be unstable and dysfunctional?
It just means that I'll take my retirement early.